Good morning and welcome. This is Megan Mansfield from the Accordant Company. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar from GCPay titled Streamline Sub Invoices and Lien Waivers with GCPay's new Sage Intacct integration. Our presenter today is Christina, Channel Account Executive from GCPay. Before we get started, I want to address a few housekeeping items. Everyone is muted for a clean listening experience. If you have any questions, please type them into the questions box. We will collect the questions and address them at the end of the session. For the best viewing experience, please maximize your screen. Today's webinar is being recorded and a link to the recording will be provided by email. With that, I'd now like to turn it over to Christina.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate the warm welcome, and thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. We are very excited to show you GCPay and the power behind automating and streamlining your subcontractor application for payment process. Now, we newly have our integration with Sage Intacct, which we'll be demonstrating today. However, just note, we also integrate with Sage 300 CRE as well as Sage 100 Contractor. All right, let's jump into this. So for those of you who have not heard of GCPay, GCPay is a cloud-based platform for managing the entire subcontractor pay app process. I love GCPay's founding story. So it was right around 2003 that there was a construction auditor who happened to be the founder of GCPay, and his job was to go in and audit commercial general contracting businesses. And after doing this for so many years, the paper chasing process, the pay apps back and forth, the lien waivers were just such a mess. He was like, there just has to be a better process than this manual way that my clients are handling the pay apps today. So luckily for him, his brother-in-law was a software engineer. So they teamed up in 2003 to create GCPay, and really it was just for the clients that they were auditing. But then quickly, one GC talked to another and it spread like wildfire, and everyone saying, yes, we would also like, a better way to automate and streamline our pay app process. So fast forward, now here we are with over 45,000 companies on the platform. Last year, generated just a little under 30 billion in contracts, and we are currently managing projects in all 50 states as well as Canada. So why do companies choose GCPay? Well, with having the direct integration into your Sage platform, we are able to eliminate that additional hand keying or double entry. Subs can easily submit their billing straight into the platform. Your appropriate approvers are all automatically notified, completely eliminates those back and forth emails, those bogged down inboxes. And again, we're just automating that whole process. GCPay will completely eliminate any possibility for a sub to overbill line items or contracts or make any sort of math mistakes. Also, part of the direct integration includes automatically pulling over approved change orders from Sage. So this will eliminate you having to hand key them, as well as ensuring that subs can never again bill for unapproved change orders. You'll never have to deal with missing lien waivers. Your custom lien waiver is generated automatically in the platform every time. There's no need for you to have to create them or worry about there being any errors on them. They are perfect every time. GCPay comes with an internal routing and approval process, which you get to customize. Also, GCPay will streamline the entire compliance process. GCPay has the ability to automatically notify subs when they're about to expire. We can even stop subs from submitting a bill if they haven't updated their insurance. GCPay was recently voted #1 construction accounting software on G2's review site. Now, G2, they actually conduct quarterly reviews. So we were actually voted #1 consecutively for 3 quarters. For spring, summer, as well as fall. Most recently, we received an overall satisfaction score of 93%. The user ratings that you see there on the right-hand side, 9.0 for ease of use, 9.3 for quality of support. The accounting average was 8. So huge kudos to our support team, and 8.9 for ease of setup. Capterra is another third-party review site where we have over 120 positive reviews, currently rated 4.6 out of 5 stars, and no customer support and ease of billings are important. So this just kind of gives you an idea of what other Sage users have to say about using GCPay. You know, what I've highlighted here is just kind of the common theme. It's easy to use, excellent customer service, support is responsive, the workflow for GCPay is simple and easy to follow. Now, if you're wondering, what are the subs saying? So recently, GCPay sent out a survey to over 40,000 customers for sub feedback, and just over 5,000 subs responded, stating they rate 4.3 out of 5 stars. 83% stated they're very satisfied, if not satisfied, using GCPay. And what's important here is that 74% of the subcontractors that we surveyed have been in business for over 10 years. So they've definitely, know the pay app process. One sub in particular, quoted, "It's simple, it's easy to use, it saves me time. The previous pay apps are easily accessed. I'm able to communicate with the GC as I submit a pay app. All waivers and forms are standardized. I wish all GCs would use GCPay." So again, really good feedback from subs. All right, so let's go ahead and switch gears. I am going to hop into the platform. Give me just a minute while I pull up my browser here. All right. All right, so you should now see my screen here. And first off, what I want you to notice is that we are just on a web browser. So again, GCPay is a fully web-based SaaS platform, meaning that you can access GCPay from any location, any device, as long as you have an internet connection. The GCPay website is where you go to log in, and the same goes for your subcontractors. So as you can see here, I am logged in, and I'm logged in as Sage Intacct Construction here as a general contractor. So this is just the home screen that you see here. We have quick links where you can access different areas of the software, recent news where we are always updating you on any feature enhancements that we're making to the platform. To start a new project, you would just simply select Start New Project. And again, because we're directly integrated into your Sage platform, we are going to be able to pull, which company folder and which project we want to pull out of job cost. So again, no hand keying. For today, I actually already started us a project, Grace Public Library. So again, under project settings here, the project name, number, the location, the county, and actually let me remove this too. So this is all information being pulled directly from Sage. So again, no one's having to rehand key this. The reason I wanted to remove that here is because as you can see in gray, used on GCPay generated lien waivers, this is all the same information that's going to be used later on to automatically generate your lien waivers with. All right, scrolling down under users. So users that are added, to this project at any point of the process will be listed here. Any of your default users, maybe, that user that just needs to be added to every single project, every single time, we do have the ability under the company level settings to designate default users. This way, as you can see, Christina is just added to the project every single time. Any of those variable users, project managers, project coordinators, you can simply select add user and then select your variable users to the project here. Now, next, drilling into the user. So again, we can get very granular here. So this is now where we have the ability in GCPay to designate roles and permissions for every user within GCPay. We get to designate, all right, is Christina going to be responsible for, being a project manager who can change project settings or add other subs to this project? A compliance officer who's responsible for reviewing those insurance documents that come in from the subs, or the lien waiver, officer responsible for reviewing any lien waivers that come in. Next, we have the ability to designate a review order. So again, if we have multiple people that needs their eyes on your subcontractor billings, we get to designate, first reviewer, then the second reviewer, and then the next reviewer, all the way to final review. What does this process look like for your team today? Is it constant emails back and forth, possibly losing sight, digging through your manual folders or, emails, to find out what you need? What would automating this process mean for your team when it comes to time and efficiency is really what we're looking at here. All right. Moving just across the top of the bar here, we have the next tab over, which is project companies. So project companies is where we're now going to go ahead and invite the subcontractors to this Grace Public Library project. Now, to add a subcontractor, you'll just select Add Company. We are going to have a database full of subcontractors, including yours. When you go through onboarding, we will ensure that all of your subs are registered and ready to go. Alternatively, you can simply send them an invite if it's a new sub that's using GCPay for the first time. But the point is with the click of a button, we can easily invite the subcontractors to this project. They'll be alerted via email that they've been added to this project. All right, moving to the next tab over, integration. So again, really highlighting the integration between GCPay and Sage Intacct Construction. From here is where we'll be able to link the commitments that we've already entered into Sage Intacct. So we can hit link contract. This is going to show us a list of all of those commitments that we already have in Sage for this project. So we could select one by one, or I could just select auto select match contracts. This way we can go ahead and bring in those commitments and or purchase orders that are tied to the contract for the subs that we've already added to this project at the same time. All right, bringing in the contract. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. And I think, setting up a one-on-one demo, we can get a little bit more in depth into this next section, but just know if we're just, bringing in a lump sum value and we want the sub to, break out the schedule of values, all that detail in the schedule of values, we can constrain it and just be bringing in the lump sum. Alternatively, if you guys today are detailing the schedule of values in Sage for the subcontract, we can bring over all of that line item detail as well. So again, either way, but once we set up a one-on-one demo, we can definitely go into more detail on how that works. All right, so now bringing in the commitments here, because Jackson Heating and AC, we're just going to bring in the lump sum, and we're just going to allow Jackson Heating and AC to detail the SOV, which we'll show you in the next few steps. Barth Electric, this is what it would look like. So again, this is all of the line item detail as well as value that we've already entered in Sage. So again, we can pull it over just as is. Because this has already been approved, Barth Electric is now notified that their schedule of values is now billable. Having, the ability to link your commitments, ensuring that you have controls in place, therefore your subs can't overbill contracts. How could this help your team when it comes to the back and forth spent in sub billings when they're constant, you're constantly having to verify that they're not making any billing errors? All right, so the next tab over is going to be compliance. So again, another key area in GCPay is going to be the compliance piece. As you know, today in Sage Intacct, GCPay is the partner that does manage the compliance for your subcontractors. So you will have the ability to add all of your required insurance items for your subs here, along with those expiration dates. Now, what's really nice is that no one on your team is ever going to be spending time, manually reviewing, spreadsheets or, your subcontractors' insurance items. GCPay will automatically notify your sub 30 days prior to the expiration date as well as the day of. So again, no one on your team is having to manage this. GCPay will do it for you. All right. So the next piece here, I'm actually going to now log out and I'm going to log in as Jackson Heating and AC, that sub, so I can show you what it looks like to upload my schedule of values. All right, logging in as a subcontractor. So first off, what I want you to notice is that the view of GCPay, that what you are seeing here on the screen is very similar to what you saw as logging in as a general contractor. We have quick links here. We have, recent news here. To access a project, we can go to our project tab here. This will show us a list of any active project we're working on. Alternatively, I would just come straight to my dashboard. Today, most subs are digging through emails, trying to remember which lien waivers are required, or what outdated insurance is needed, or, remembering which pay app they're on. The dashboard is going to give your sub a bird's eye view of everything required from them on one page. This is huge, and we get a lot of good feedback, from subs about how convenient and how much time has been saved just by having this one page that they need to look at that tells them what's needed from them. This is not only saving your subs time, but you as a general contractor, it's saving your team's time, because you're not having to spend any time back and forth, emailing subs, reminding them of what's required. So now just know, we also have the ability to make the dashboard your homepage, so that this is the first thing you see when logging in. We made it very easy. We really gamified it. Anything red with a number, you owe something. Green, 0, you're good to go. So I can come right in here and take a look. All right, outstanding lien waivers. All right, let's take a look. Well, this is quite a bit. So let's actually group this by project. Maybe that will be easier. So I can come in here and group it how I choose, and we can take a look all on one page what lien waivers are still outstanding. Or what about compliance, those insurance items? Again, same thing. I can come in here, group it, whichever way is easiest. I can come down a line and upload all from this one page, all of those updated items that are required from me as a subcontractor. So again, no more digging around from project to project to figure out what's required. Again, saving your subs and your team a lot of time and efficiency just around this piece alone. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to come over here to not submitted. Now, as I have this grouped by project, here's that project, Grace Public Library. It looks like that's me, the sub, and it looks like I have a schedule of values that, as you can see, I need to edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and simply hit edit. Scrolling down, this big yellow box, we make it so easy for your subs. They clearly know that their schedule of values must be that contract of $177.65. So again, GCPay is not going to allow your subs to upload a schedule of values that does not meet that commitment value exactly. I can select, add line by line item description and value. Maybe it's just, very simple, labor and materials with the value. Or maybe we need it to be a little bit more specific. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload my schedule of values that I already have. Most subs already have a schedule of values from the bid phase. There we go. We've uploaded the file. As you can see, for demo purposes, we made sure that this added up exactly to that $177.65, so it looks good, right? But let me show you what it looks like if we didn't. If we had, 2,000 here. GCPay will let them know exactly how much they're off by. So again, no one needs to be a mathematician. GCPay makes it very simple for everyone. All right, let's go ahead and save my schedule of values. Scrolling down, notice here, the submit button is grayed out. And that's another key feature here with GCPay. We have the ability to require any sort of document come along. So whether there's maybe, as in this, demonstration, a wage and rentals agreement that we need, or maybe there's certified payroll that we need, any sort of custom document that you want to come along with the sub schedule of values, we can make that a requirement here so that they have to upload that before they can submit this. So we'll just go ahead and simply upload my wage and rentals agreement. As you can see, submit button is now highlighted. I can go ahead and submit my SOV. So, with the transparency that GCPay provides for you and your subs, how would this be helpful? Your sub knows exactly what the contract value is, and they simply just can't over or under bill it. So again, just making it very simple for everyone. Now, next piece here that I do want to show you is compliance. I'm sure you've already seen this big yellow box, outstanding compliance issues. The compliance tab is also highlighted in red. And as I mentioned earlier, GCPay is going to notify your subs 30 days prior as well as the day of via email. So various ways that GCPay is alerting your subs of their outdated insurance items. They can come in here. This is the exact same page that you saw as the general contractor of the description of what's required along with those expiration dates. This is where your sub would just simply upload those updated documents. If you're still dealing with any of those, low tech, maybe those mom and pop type shops, subcontractors, we do provide this cover sheet, which makes it very convenient for your subs to maybe fax in their updated items or email into your team. This QR code will automatically import that document into GCPay. Once that document is uploaded in GCPay, your compliance officer will be alerted that that document was uploaded, and all you have to do is review. You have the ability to approve or reject if necessary. Now, currently most subs are just sending in their compliance items via email. Does that sound familiar? Maybe a couple of emails and phone calls, days, if not weeks later that you actually get it. Again, GCPay is just making it so easy for your sub to directly upload their documents right into the platform, just cutting out that middleman. All right, I'm going to now log back in as the general contractor. So the next step here is reviewing and approving my sub's schedule of values. Now logging back in here, I can again go to my project tab and it'll show me a list of all of my projects I'm working on. Alternatively, I'm just going to come straight to my dashboard. So good news. Every single user in GCPay is going to have their very own dashboard. And, as I mentioned earlier, no one wants to dig around, spreadsheets or digging through their emails to see what actionable items are needed. The dashboard is going to allow every single team member the efficiency needed to ensure no one's spending more time than needed to review sub items. So remember, GCPay is going to have specific permissions and roles assigned to you based on, are you a project manager? Are you the project coordinator? Are you, an admin? If you're an admin, you need to toggle to all project to see, what's happening across the board. Versus a project manager, they only need to see their project. So again, they would only have the visibility to their projects. Now, if you are not responsible for reviewing lien waivers, again, you're not going to see this because it's not going to be an actionable item. This is only going to show you as your users, users' roles and permissions, what's required, what's actionable by you. I can come in here to submitted. And as we see, there's that project, and it looks like my sub submitted their schedule of values, which I need to go ahead and hit review. All right, scrolling down here, we can review this wage and rentals agreement, make sure this is the correct document. We already know that your sub can't overbill or underbill the contract, but this is where we can confirm that this is as detailed as I need the SOV to be. I can go ahead and hit review and now approve. All right. Now that we've approved the schedule of values, your sub has now been alerted that their SOV is now billable. All right. Now I'm just going to go ahead and jump back into this project. And what I want you to notice here, notice that the project name is now highlighted in red. The integration tab is also highlighted in red. So this is GCPay's way of alerting you, hey, maybe something needs your attention. So if I open this up, this is that schedule of values that I just approved for Jackson Heating and AC. So what this is telling you, the schedule has an unmapped contract item. It's telling you that a change order just came through. So again, part of the direct integration includes pulling over approved change orders. GCPay and Sage talk to each other every 30 minutes, which means if you approved a change order in Sage, it will automatically flow into GCPay 30 minutes later, no hand keying whatsoever. If I scroll down here, we can see change order number 1 for $8,000. If we were to sit here and chit chat for the next 20 minutes, you would see this automatically added to this approved SOV. Alternatively, if we need to push it through quicker, I can just select here, hit save, and there we go. We've added the change order to the approved sub SOV. So again, 2 key things here. No hand keying. No one at your company is hand keying these in. Your subs are definitely not hand keying these in. They're flowing in straight from Sage automatically. Second, these are the only change orders that your subs can bill against, which will eliminate the possibility for subs to bill for unapproved change orders. How do you think having the controls around change orders would be helpful for your team? Again, no more back and forth trying to fix these errors. All right. Next piece here, I do want to show you a couple of project level settings. I said earlier, we have company level settings, so any of those default settings would be set up here. But we do know that there are times that we need settings for just this one project. So we can customize that under the project settings here. Scrolling down under billing options. Now, if you have a bill due date, that day of the month that you require your sub invoices to be into your team by, we can select that date here. So let's just say we want it to be actually the 20th. Next, GCPay will automatically send billing reminders 7 days prior to this designated bill due date. So again, no one on your team is going to have to be reminding your subs of when to get their invoices into you by. GCPay will do that for you. Now, do you ever deal with subs submitting their invoices after your bill due date? I bet you do. This is actually a customer requested feature. Checking this, we can close the month out after this bill due date so that if your sub did in fact try to submit their bill to you on the 25th, it would tell them it's automatically being pushed to the following billing period. We've heard good feedback about this feature because apparently it only takes one time to happen to a sub and they are never late billing again. All right, next feature here that I do want to show you. I know how important lien waivers are for most, so I just want to spend a couple minutes going over how lien waivers work in GCPay. First off, you're going to send us all of your lien waivers. So again, we're using exactly your lien waivers, what they look like today, your heading, your font, your style, whatever they look like. We will upload them into GCPay and we'll digitize them. Now, what I mean by digitizing is we have the ability to add custom tags. So the county, the project name, the start dates, those billing numbers, those will all be automatically generated on every single lien waiver every single time. No need, again, for anyone on your team to be, manually customizing lien waivers. I could just imagine how much time would be, saved if those could be automatically generated every single time. Now, any of those standard waivers, those are just going to be automatically added to every single project. If you do have a project-specific waiver that you need to add, you can select Add Lien Waiver, where you'll have the ability to add those variable lien waivers from your lien waiver bank. Now, next piece here is we also give you the ability to customize how we want to trigger this waiver. Do we require this lien waiver before the sub can submit their invoice, or maybe once the invoice has been approved? What type of waiver is this? We get to select, is this a partial, an unconditional, or final? The system is smart and knows when to trigger the final. Lastly, do you require notarized lien waivers, or is digital signature okay? We have the ability to designate how we want that signed. We also can say, you know what, I actually only want to trigger this lien waiver if the contract value exceeds a certain dollar amount. So again, many ways that we can customize your lien waivers and ensuring that we are getting the lien waivers back when you need them, so no one is having to chase any of your lien waivers down. All right, now let's go ahead and get to the fun part, which I know that you are all waiting for. I'm actually going to go ahead and log out, and I'm going to log back in as Jackson Heating and AC, the subcontractor, so I can finally submit my billing. All right, logging back in, I'm going to go to my project tab here. Let's just go ahead and type in Grace Public Library. Now, what I want you to notice here is that schedule of values that we uploaded, the status is now approved. Because it's approved, only then has this green create link appeared. So this is now giving me the ability to go ahead and create my invoice. I'll go ahead and hit create. Retainage. I'm not going to bore you with retention, but just know, again, having that integration with your Sage ERP solution, we're going to pull in the retention just as you have it in Sage. GCPay supports many different types of retention. So whether that's the standard, the variable, the frozen, or maybe it's the locking and releasing of specific line items. The point is you as a GC control retainage. So just know that you have many options. Before we talk about what a sub can do, let's talk about what a sub cannot do. The item number, the description, the approved schedule value, or if this was my third or fourth billing, any previous billed amounts, we cannot touch. These fields are locked down. What I can do is I can enter a dollar, a percent, or stored material. So let's just come in here and let's just say we did $20,000 worth of work here. As you can see, math is automatically calculated, the percentage of work complete, the balance to finish, the percent of retainage. Again, we are not needing any mathematicians here. GCPay will manage this for you. Now, let's just say, I know it's 2,000, but I think I deserve 5. Again, notice GCPay will not allow your subs to overbill. They can only bill up to that approved schedule of value. So a few key items here. No one on your team is going to ever again have to be reviewing your sub invoices for any sort of math errors, for overbilling line items, or as you can see, there's nowhere for me to enter, anything additional, so I can't bill for an unapproved change order. Here's that approved change order, so I can definitely go ahead and bill on that. So again, saving your team the time spent when reviewing your sub invoices and the back and forth that you have to spend to try to fix those errors. That's all completely eliminated. Stored material. So just know that if you're not allowing your subs to bill for stored material, this is a feature that you can turn off so that your sub can't even view this column. However, if you do require or allow your sub to bill for stored material and you require that backup to come along with that billing, I'll show you in GCPay how we can ensure that all of that backup is coming along with this invoice. So let's just go ahead and put in value here. Scrolling down, your sub is given this summary, which just makes this process so much more transparent. They can clearly see how much will be paid if approved. Let's go ahead and hit save. All right, here we are back to that green box that you saw earlier. Submit button is grayed out. So again, this is a huge key area for your team when we're talking about efficiency and saving your team time. This is where we can ensure that those required items are coming along with the sub invoice. No more having to chase down those lien waivers or the backup for stored material, ever again. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's just start at the top here. GCPay has the ability to manage not only your subs, but those tiered subs. So if we need to, ensure that your sub is reporting any third-party suppliers or vendors, we can have this populate. If they hit no, then that does show up on the audit trail. But if they do hit yes, it'll bring them to this liabilities tab. We can add those tiered suppliers here. We can type in a description of work, the contract value, and what's due this period. Notice we even have a joint check indicator, so we can even pull a report showing maybe, hey, this needs to be paid via joint check. Few different ways that you can customize this, but in the demo environment, as soon as the GC approves a sub invoice, GCPay will automatically email Sal Supply the tiered waiver. Your sub can simply upload that waiver right back into GCPay. So again, being able to also manage your tiered vendors. Next item here is it says a checklist needs to be completed. So again, there are many customization options within GCPay. We're showing you everything, right? This can be turned on, it can be turned off. This is custom verbiage. This is really just an acknowledgement. So whatever you need your sub to acknowledge, maybe it's something specific in their contract, we can ensure that your sub has to acknowledge that by checking this. And what's important is that this shows up on the audit trail. So, I would say most GCs have this turned on and say something around if, you have outstanding compliance items, your payment will be held. So this way your sub can't come back to you and say, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were going to hold my payment. Well, yes, you did. It's in the contract. You acknowledged it and it's on the audit trail. All right. Next item here, stored material. So again, as I mentioned earlier, GCPay has the ability to enforce that backup comes along. Because the sub entered a value in the stored material column, GCPay is smart and it knows that we require that backup. So this was automatically triggered. This is all custom verbiage. So whether it's certificate of insurance, maybe it's an invoice, pictures, you can have up to 10 line items here of any sort of backup that you require from your sub in order to bill for stored material. I have a picture of some stored material, so we'll go ahead and upload that here. All right. Lastly are those lien waivers. So I'm going to show you how we can require your lien waivers upfront from your subs, ensuring that you're never again having to spend time chasing them down. Now, again, I highly doubt that there's a situation that you're going to be requiring 3 lien waivers upfront from your subs, but again, we want to show you the whole breadth of options that you have. So as you can see here, the GC is requiring 2 conditionals and an unconditional. 2 can be signed digitally, and 1's going to require notarization. So let's start with a conditional that we can sign digitally. Just pretend that this is one of your lien waivers, exactly what your lien waiver looks like today. Remember, we're using your waivers. What's important is, do you notice everything that you see here in bold? These are those custom tags that I was talking about earlier. We can ensure that your team is never again having to customize your lien waivers. We are going to automatically fill in your lien waivers with the project information, the GC name, the billing amounts that were approved automatically. And this, again, this is all the information that you hand keyed into Sage. We're pulling this directly from Sage into GCPay. Next, we can go ahead and hit sign document. Remembers my signature from the prior time, and you can see how easy it is for your subs to sign, and now it's dated. Our digital signature is good by UETA guidelines and fully legal as a wet signature in all 50 states. All right, next, let's take a look at this conditional that requires notary. Now, if your sub has a notary there in their office, they could just simply download this, get it notarized, and re-upload right back into the platform. Alternatively, we do have a partnership with notarize.com. It was actually during the pandemic, it was requested by subs to have a notarization option that didn't require them having to go into a physical location. So we were able to create this partnership with notarize.com. They open up a Zoom screen, the notary on the other side will online notarize the waiver, and it's automatically imported back into GCPay. We negotiated a max wait time of 5 minutes, and online notarization is legal in all 50 states. All right. Lastly, here is the unconditional waiver. And you may be wondering, okay, why on earth would a sub ever sign an unconditional or final before payment? The key here is that I do actually have GCPay's optional e-payment feature turned on, which guarantees receipt of that final or unconditional waiver. So first, let's just take a look at the waiver. It's your standard, unconditional waiver. When I hit sign document, what I want you to notice here is the waiver now has a watermark all over it that says unofficial copy. This is the key for your team on how you can ensure that you are never chasing a waiver again. Since the e-payment feature is being utilized, we will take the funds from your bank account, and the second the money clears your sub bank account, we will release this waiver back to the GC without the watermark. So in real life, your sub is being told, while I'm submitting this unconditional or final, it's only going to be a watermarked version that the GC can view. And only once the funds clear their bank account will the official waiver be released back to the GC. This is leaving both parties completely protected. The sub gets paid quickly. The GC doesn't have to store any bank account information, and it guarantees receipt of waiver every time for the GC. So again, win-win for everyone. All right, now that I've fulfilled all of these required items, the submit button is now highlighted in blue. We can go ahead and submit the invoice. All right, great. So let's go ahead and log out, and I'm going to log in as a general contractor so we can now go ahead and review and approve the invoice. All right, I'm just going to go straight to my dashboard here. You can see how quick and easy it is. You can see under submitted, Jackson Heating and AC submitted application for payment number 1, and we can go ahead and hit review. Scrolling down, again, we can go through all of these required documents here. Make sure this is in fact a picture of the stored material and not their family tropical vacation. Scrolling down here, we can take a look at the sub billings. If I was a project manager and I was walking the job with my tablet in hand, I could come over here, just show me current billings, get rid of all of that extra noise, and make sure that the percent of work that they're billing for is in fact what's completed out in the field. Scrolling down, we have that same exact summary that you saw on the sub side, showing exactly what will be paid if approved. Now, what I want you to notice here, if for whatever reason, maybe that 50% of work complete, that's not correct. It's more like 25%. Notice, I can't reject this without leaving a comment. So this is really to help your subs from being blindsided. So if you are in fact rejecting anything in GCPay, you are required to leave a comment letting your sub know why it's being rejected. This way, your sub gets alerted via email with your comment saying, you know, hey, it looks like it's more like 25%. I'm going to need you to revise this invoice. They can clearly come back into GCPay, revise, and resubmit back to your team. So again, really streamlining that communication between your subs and the general contractor. All right, now that we have approved the invoice, the next step would be getting that invoice back into Sage. So I can come over here to the Sage Intacct tab, and this is now going to show me a list of all of my approved invoices. I can select one by one, I can select all, it does not matter. With a click of this button here, as you can see, export, we have the ability to export these invoices directly into Sage. Again, no hand keying. No one is going to be re-hand keying any of the invoices back into Sage. It's automatically flowing into Sage where you can continue the workflow as is. If you're paying via paper check, you would continue paying via paper check out of Sage. Alternatively, if you do decide to take advantage of paying your subcontractors using our e-payment feature, you could come back to the project, go to your ACH tab. This is now going to show you a list of all of those payable items. Again, you can select one by one, you can select all, hit create batch. And just know, as you can see here, status is showing pending. You will have a designated treasury officer, and that is going to be the person responsible for releasing payment. So you can, have this payment in escrow, or maybe if you've been paid by the owner and you're ready to release, you can go ahead and release. Your sub will be paid within 2 to 3 business days, and the status will show as paid, as you see here. Now, remember when we talked about the payment exchange waiver? Let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to come back to my lien waiver tab. And you can see here's that unconditional, automatically released back to the GC without the watermark. So again, as you can see, so many ways that GCPay can make this entire process so much more streamlined, so much more efficient. Since GCPay, eliminates the time spent around creating lien waivers, chasing waivers back, and now since you paid your sub electronically, how do you think that this would be helpful for your guys' team? Again, never chasing these down again. All right, lastly, just one more thing I want to show you here is reports. We have company level reports. We also have project level reports. What kind of reports do you guys typically pull today? Are those being done manually? Is that on an Excel spreadsheet that can easily break? These reports here are all customer requested reports. We can come in here and take a look. All right, well, which lien waivers are still outstanding? Or who is, where's the bottleneck? Who are we waiting on to approve any sort of invoice or item in the system? The monthly cost bundle report is heavily used. This is very cool because we can come in here and we can select a parameter. I can come in here and say, all right, let's select this month, October, and I want to go back 4 months. We have the ability, do we want to include retainage? Do we want to include any additional documents? How many documents do I want? Email me the report. That report will get emailed to you in this standard AIA style format. You will have a bundled report of all of your sub invoices based on the parameters which you've selected. And again, GCPay is automatically generating these AIA invoices for you. So no one is filling them out. There's no room for error. This is really great because you have an easy way to compile all of your sub invoices. Here's that audit trail. Here's those lien waivers that are attached. You have the ability to download, you can email this, you can print it out, whatever you need to do with it. But as you can see here, GCPay is taking that exact same workflow that your team is doing today, but automating it. So again, GCPay is not only simple to use, it's a simple workflow to follow because it's what you're doing today, but again, just putting more controls and transparency in place. And that is pretty much GCPay in a nutshell. Again, there is a lot more functionality. We even have owner billing capabilities. I would love to go into, a deeper dive with you if this is something that you think would be helpful for your team. So please reach out. I am happy to schedule a one-on-one, direct demo with your team. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I do have just a couple more slides, but I just need to pull up my PowerPoint here again. Give me just a moment while I open this. All right. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and talk about what comes with GCPay. So GCPay will train both you and your subcontractors. No one on your team is going to be expected to train your subs on GCPay. Our team will manage that. Your onboarding manager will assist with creating your custom lien waiver. So again, they will be ready to go in the platform by the time that you are ready to start your billing. GCPay supports both you and your sub Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. in every time zone. We have a bilingual English and Spanish support team. So again, any of those Spanish speaking subcontractors or English, our team is there to support them via phone, email, or even chat in the platform. And again, with our team doing all of the training for you and your subs, you are not expected to have to, field any of your subcontractor questions about invoices. They know they can contact our team to get any help they need in the platform. All right, so again, I would love to be able to take a deeper dive with you and your team if you think that GCPay could, save your team that time spent on your subcontractor invoices. Please reach out to me, directly, or reach out to your Accordant rep, and we would be happy to set up, a Q&A or a direct demo. And with that, I will pass it over to Megan. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Christina. That was great. We have a couple of questions. One in the chat box is, will we get a recording of this email? Yes. I will upload this to Accordant's YouTube channel, and I will send all participants a link. That's one. The next question is, how can we get a testing account?
Yeah, so I would definitely say, reach out to me, and that's definitely something we can talk about a little bit more in depth. We don't necessarily have a sandbox version of it, but I would be happy to have a Q&A, set up a direct demo, and see what next steps are from there.
That's great. Those were the 2 questions we have. If I'm going to unmute the participants, and if anybody has any questions, they can ask them now. Everybody is unmuted. Does anybody have any questions for Christina? Well, if not, we will conclude the webinar, and thank you again for joining us, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.